Yay, we finally did it. We actually reached the end of 2019 without dying. So that's great. So yeah, I would like to thank everyone for 2019. Even though I didn't get a lot of subscribers this year, and that's okay. I feel like I improved a little bit in my content from a crappy, bad microphone to a new one that's kind of good in a way. So I guess just watch this like movie long compilation of all my videos this year. Bye. See you in 2020. 55th time. We can do this. We can do this. Okay. 3, 2, 1. June 13th, 2016. The day it all happened when we were introduced to Marvel Spider-Man for PlayStation 4, the first trailer ever. Everyone was excited. We got drama between it, but we don't really want to talk about that. So, I don't know. And barely any news for it until like April of 2018 when we got the release date. Then September 7th, 2018 happened and everyone got to play it. I know I'm late on this review by like a lot of months and I do not know when this will get uploaded because right now it's December 23rd, 2018. So yeah. I'm just gonna ask you, how do you feel about it? Does it make you feel like Spider-Man like everyone says? Do you think it's bad? Or do you think it's really good? This is what I'm gonna say about it. So let's start off this review with the most important part of any open world Spider-Man game, the swinging. The swinging is on par with Spider-Man 2 for me, honestly. I used to think that it's better than Spider-Man 2, but the more I played it, the more I feel like it's just the same for Spider-Man 2 on how I feel about it, because Spider-Man 2 sometimes has things that Spider-Man PS4 has but better, but Spider-Man PS4 also has things that lacks that Spider-Man 2 has from a really long time ago. So the traversal is also really fun because we also have perch point launches and stuff like that. I cannot say things today, but I will not stop this take. Are you kidding me? It feels fun, but you can tell that it's just more momentum and animation based for the swinging. I don't really get bothered by that, but it's fine, really. The perch point launches, by pressing both trigger on a little circle area there, you get to do a perch point launch and it just does what it says. You can also press X in the middle of it to jump off it and continue your swing. It's like Sunset Overdrive where you never get to touch the ground at all. You can also upgrade it which is really good because that boost for the upgrade, it just makes it faster and better, and you just do it every time. The trick system, I don't really think it's the best because there should be a more upgrade tree to the tricks, and it shouldn't just be 4 simple tricks that you just roll your analog stick around and you just do a trick or so. So yeah. By clicking L3, it puts you in a dive that is supposed to increase your momentum, though it feels like it doesn't really increase it as much. When you are in a dive, you're supposed to go at max momentum. It just feels like the same speed, or you're just a little faster. At least the city feels more alive than the past games with traffics and others. It doesn't have too much and it doesn't have too little either. It's like the perfect amount for the city. It's also covered with extra activities and collectibles. I love how each backpack collectible makes Peter explain about it. They even had one explain about how he has so many backpacks. Though I feel bad that Sandman was stuck in a vial for like 5 years. maybe, or maybe so, or just that's a piece of him. I don't really know, but that's just cruel on Peter's side, but whatever. There are also side missions that just show the aspect of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man part of his character, just helping out random civilians like finding someone dressing up as you, or catching those dumb pigeons for Howard. It's hard to go back to the main mission every time I pass by one. It makes me want to do another and another and another till like I realize I've done like 20 things a day to continue the story again. The open world activities are Black Cat stakeouts, Taskmaster challenges, side missions, enemy bases, landmarks, and others that I might have forgot. They are a little nice but a little repetitive later down the road, and you might just feel tired of doing them, but they aren't that hard to do. They just feel samey. The research missions though are the only ones that are really different from each other, but that's just the typical open world activities, I guess. The crime in it are okay. Wish there was more diversity in the crime after you 100% all the things in the game. I kind of like the crime with the bombs, where you have to defuse all the bombs the demons planted, because the demons love their bombs. I am so sorry for that. Okay, for the combat for Spider-Man, honestly, I have to say, even though Insomniac said they were inspired by the Arkham games, I don't really see it for this character, and I don't really see how it's comparable to Arkham really, other than attack and dodge, but that's what a lot of games do have. Spider-Man is more of an agile character and is the type that could be unpredictable with his moves. I feel like this combat is more grounded, yet good for this kind of Spider-Man. It isn't flashy and over the top like Web of Shadows, and it isn't so Arkham or easy like the Amazing Spider-Man games. The combat fits Spider-Man's style, more agile and quick technique. The gadgets though are hit or miss. I put that in my script and I did not mean by that meme, but I'll put it in the video anyway. Like the Trip Mine, Electric Web, Spider Drones, and Impact Webs, those gadgets are easily OP, especially Spider Drone. You could get it early like I did for pre-ordering, and the more you upgrade, the more you'll be unstoppable. Though it's fun to see how crazy OP these gadgets are, it just makes everything super easy now. I just wish they were easily nerfed a little, even though I use them a lot. They just make things so easy. The enemy types are just normal enemies, enemies with whips, enemies with swords, and lastly brutes. The whip enemies are so annoying, especially in the DLC by the way, so watch out for those. It's great that Spider Sense is actually circle to dodge. I think it's actually great to dodge rather than counter it like the Amazing Spider-Man games did. But also, once you upgrade your Spider Sense, you can unlock the perfect dodge. For some reason, it's just satisfying for me to web up an enemy in the face using that perfect dodge every time. So let's go to the part of the gameplay I don't really enjoy, the stealth. So the stealth here is so easy, there's really no challenge towards it, and just shows how stupid the enemy AI are. I can literally just do a takedown and the guy a couple feet away, he will not notice. I wish you can do stealth for bases fully instead of just taking out 5 guys and the wave's over and you just have to start fighting the whole time. Or you can at least just make the enemies really smarter. There's also MJ and Miles' stealth sections which suck. They just break the pace of the game, and yeah, but in the Grand Central Station for MJ is actually really nice because you get to team up with Spider-Man and just take down all the other demons, but then again you would just wish you were playing as Spider-Man instead of MJ. There's also that one Miles one where you would try to escape from Rhino. It's nice, but again, you wish you could be playing as Spider-Man. I'm glad these are short because it would suck playing like over in 1 hour each stealth mission. That would just make everyone mad. So the story, the second or first most important part of any game. The story is what I was worrying about for the longest time. It would have been good or bad. I'm safe to say that this story was actually good. It's honestly the best Spider-Man game story we have had in a very long time. It's nowhere near as the best Spider-Man story ever comparing to comics, but it's just compared to the other game, it's really good. The characters are nice. MJ is just like ultimate MJ reporter, like, which I guess is fine, but it always feels like everyone thinks that MJ is a bad character just because the Raimi films. The films didn't get her character right, making the audience think that she's just an annoying character. She isn't. I recommend to read the 616 comics. MJ is a good character that really shows how her character is. I really like her relationship with Peter in the JMS run, because I cannot pronounce his name. I'll put it on the video, whatever. Anyway, Miles. He's fine. He's more likable in this game than the actual comic, and I'm actually looking forward to how his character is going to be down the road. Even though, after seeing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I actually really like that movie Miles better than this Miles. But let's just hope that in the sequel, we'll see a better character than this even. So the villains, Otto and Martin Lee. Otto is actually really great. I liked his build-up from just Peter's mentor to actually being part of creating Mr. Negative and turning into Doc Ock. Through my first playthrough of it, I kind of wish he didn't really turn into Doc Ock because I loved his characters as a nice man, I guess, as much throughout the story. Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative, is a character that you fight throughout the first two acts mostly. I like Mr. Negative. He doesn't have the biggest appearances in the comics. I hope this game makes him really apparent again in the comic world. Also, as much as Silver Sable is the best girl, her character though is really 2D compared to all the other characters. Even though her DLC is way better. Silver lining. Then we got Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. Yeah, I'll say that this is one of the best incarnations of Spider-Man since Spectacular Spider-Man. Peter is mostly great in this game, and I actually like his character more than how Slott wrote him in the comics for like 10 years. He's just a more likable character. I like how Yuri Lowenthal portrayed this Peter. He's on par with Josh King for me. I actually really like the City Hall scene as it being the end of Act 1, and it just feels like it changed the tone of the story for the next acts. It's great that they mix dark scenes and light scenes together. Also, rest in peace Jefferson, I loved him for like 1 hour before he died. Norman Osborn for mayor was honestly a great idea, and it's nice how throughout the game you see how evil Norman is actually. Also, the boss fights are just okay, I guess. The Lee fight in the subway was really meh. It's just dodging, and the actual boss fights were just web and attack and dodge. I wish they were better and needed more skill than doing the simple attack dodge web kind of thing. I guess my favorite boss is a tie between Doc Ock and Mr. Negative. Doc Ock was simple, but I just loved it because how it ended up in all to this, the student versus the mentor thing. The first phase was, I guess, easy once you know that you're just webbing up the arms and dodging. Even for the simplicity that the second phase of Doc Ock was, it was just great. It was personal between Peter and Otto. Even though it was short, I just loved that wall fight, which led to the cutscene of May's death. It felt like a slap in the face to one of the most infamous Spider-Man stories, One More Day. That story made Peter give up his marriage to the devil to save Aunt May, but in this game, they actually did what Peter would have done and just accepted and helped save the city. It was him accepting responsibility and maturing as an adult. I just want to end this review saying that, yeah, this game isn't the best game ever, and there are other games that are way better than it, but I'll admit that this is the best Spider-Man and superhero game that I have played in a very long time. Yeah, it did have bumps down the road and community drama, but this game is really good and it's a recommend for any Spider-Man and or superhero fan. So yeah, here's hoping to see Miles be a good character in this sequel, and if Harry becomes Venom, let's just hope he's a good Venom, unlike the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show one, which really messed him up. So bye guys, see you in the next video.
They tried to get rid of me, but from ocean to ocean, they gonna have to deal with me. I've been overlooked, slept on, stepped on, left for dead, always against all odds like Pac said. I'm the living great Gatsby, but these boys will watch you quick and disappear like Banksy. From ocean to ocean, sea to sea, I'm something that you gotta see.
Gonna take a love to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never had.
I practice what I preach, but I ain't gon' lie. Still got love for these streets, 305 till I die. Still got love for these beats, that's why I spit this fire. You can catch me on the beach, especially on the island. Took over my city, now it's time for the world. I live it, they rapping, there's a difference, girl. Getting paid more than athletes, man, life is sweet. GM on the status, Papa, watch me.
Gonna take a love to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never had.
I got the world on my shoulders, still quick on my feet. Now I say sleep is the cousin of death, so I don't sleep. These boys act like they hard, but we know that they sweet. They wouldn't bust a grape at a food fight, Papa, please. Went from rapping with them boys with a mouth full of gold to hanging with Slim Jr. down in Mexico. Take it with a grain of salt and a pound of gold. The game is to be sold and not told. Let's go.
Gonna take a love to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rain.
So the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer came out, and how I feel about it, I'm not really excited for it. I mean, it looks okay, I guess, for a second movie of MCU Spider-Man, but I'm not really the biggest fan of MCU Spider-Man, even though my profile pic is a picture of MCU Spider-Man. But I'll probably change it later down the road anyway. So, like, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't really care, but like, I feel like the MCU stance made me just really dislike MCU Spider-Man even more because of how annoying and toxic they are and how they'll just harass people if they don't even like it as much. But that's not all the stands, I guess, but like, it's most of them. So even if I don't care, I feel like the only thing I'm thinking will be good will be Mysterio's character played by Jake Gyllenhaal or whatever, but that's all I feel. Bye guys, see you in the next video. Hey Siri, play Only One Spider-Man.
Only One Spider-Man by Daniel Pemberton, now playing.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a really great movie, and it's a great Spider-Man movie in general. But I want to talk about the score real quick about Daniel Pemberton. It's a score that you should check out, and it has scores like Only One Spider-Man, Comic Book, The Amazing Spider-Man, My Name is Peter B. Parker, Prowler, Kingpin Clicks, and Kingpin Fight and Shoulder Touch, which also for Miles' theme is Spider-Man Loves You, and I like that. So yeah, I really advise you to check this out. It's a really good score, and I really like the creative decisions that Daniel Pemberton went with this score, with the scratchy kind of hip-hoppy noises for Miles' theme and the elephant noises for mixed together for Prowler's theme. It's really nice, and it's just great. I also like how Peter's theme is mostly just a more heroic kind of one, but it's also, you can also kind of hear that in Miles' theme, which is because he's like basically the next Spider-Man character after Peter, and it's nice to hear that, or I'm overthinking it a little, but yeah, I advise you just check out this score. It's just a quick video, I just want you to check it out because I really love it, so yeah. Bye guys, see you in the next video.
So I'm about to like die right now, so like, blah 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 blah.
Oh wait, what's happening?
Blah blah. I'm dying. I don't know how I die in the movie, but whatever. Blah blah blah.
Oh, he just died. Let's go to Earth and like try to find my memories or something. Ah. And like, then she goes to Earth or whatever.
Alright, prove to me that you're not a Skrull.
No.
Oh, alright, wanna join me on this epic adventure on finding evil Skrulls?
Heck yeah, brother.
Oh, okay. Let's do this.
Epic adventure. Blah blah. Uh-oh. Oh my god, Fury, what is this strange thing? That's a cat. Oh my god, look. It looks like a Skrull. We should kill it.
No. The heck is wrong with you?
Kill it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Meow meow, plebs. What's up?
We can keep it.
Yay! As the heroes go on their epic journey or whatever, I don't care, they meet their final enemy, whatever.
Roar. Scroll. Roar. Scroll. Roar. Oh my god, it's a scroll. We should kill it.
No. We shouldn't. We should just keep him and test on him for the future.
But this guy has been shape-shifting into multiple people. We should definitely kill it.
No. Meow meow. Let's not kill it, brother.
No, we should kill it. Now. Blam, slam, kablam. Ah!
That didn't hurt. Oh, yes. We can keep him for testing.
No, we should think the blam, slam, more blam, kablam.
The heck is this? Frick this. I'm gonna go big now.
Blam. Blam. Oh no. Oh, well, that's bad. Y'all are officially screwed now. Hee.
Oh no. What should I do? Meow meow. I don't really know. I'm just gonna go kill myself now, whatever. Oh, okay.
Oh no. Fury, what do we do?
Blam, blam.
Oh no, Fury dead.
I'm going to kill everyone.
Blam, 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 blam. Ha ha ha. Hee. Ha ha ha. Hee. Not if I have anything to do about it. Blam! Ultra power shield. You screwed now, bucko.
Oh no. Yeah, no, no. I'm screwed now. No.
You screwed now, brother.
Oh no, I'm screwed now. Meow meow.
I wanna die, man. Blah, blam, 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 slam, slam, blam.
I'm dying, son. I'm dying. Oh, blood. I'm dead. Ah, I'm dead. Congratulations, Carol. You saved the world. Oh, that's nice. I still don't have my memories. Oh, yeah, I'm actually evil. Blah, blah, blah.
Never seen Star Wars. None of them. Never will. OMG, you're missing out. Maybe. You're missing out on being a multimillionaire. Keep your movie, bruh. Not your car? It was my last name, Tate. T8 on the number plate. Too much Star Wars makes you dumb, man. Guys, I have more cars than I stand next to. If you want to learn how to make money online, Cobertate.com. Yeah. Never seen Star Wars. None of them.
Sorry.
Never will. OMG, you're missing out.
Anyways, we're getting a new Star Wars game by EA, and if they mess this up, they'll regret it. Anyways, we're getting a new Star Wars game by EA. This game is called Jedi Fallen Order. It is not like Star Wars Battlefront 2 or 1. There is no multiplayer and no microtransactions. This is a single player Jedi story based game, like Force Unleashed 1 and 2, I guess. And this game takes place after the events of Revenge of the Sith and centers around a character named Cal Kestis. Yeah, I don't know how to say his name. He survived Order 66 and is on the run from the Empire, I guess. I don't know, I'm not a big, huge Star Wars guy, but this game really sounds interesting. And should you really be excited for this, since this is also from EA, but Respawn is developing it. But it's also EA who cancels single player games. So, you think about that. So, this game really sounds interesting, with the combat being easy to pick up but hard to master, which is really I'm a fan of. I like that kind of stuff with combat, and I hope that the Force is like not really buggy and it's just fine, and it's not like weird, because I didn't really enjoy how the Force was in like the Force Unleashed, but whatever. And this game is a linear type of game. It's not open world, but I feel like it's just gonna be like how God of War was with its kind of overworld. And I really hope this game isn't a collect-a-thon after you beat the story, and I hope the story is like 20 plus hours or something. I just really hope this game is really good, because I'm really interested in this kind of Star Wars game, and I'm more interested into this than the actual movie Episode 9 coming out this year. And I bet that's the case for a lot of people, because there's a lot of people who do not like the new trilogy right now.
Everyone's who ever watched Star Wars in human history is absolute dirt poor. No exceptions. Only I can save you. I teach you how to make money online here. Cobertate.com/product. Even watching a Star Wars trailer may leave you homeless on the street with AIDS. Only I had the path to absolute financial freedom. Do not follow the Jedi. Follow the Jesus. Learn how to get unlimited girls and make unlimited money here. Cobertate.com.
I love this thread so much.
Rocksteady, please make a Daredevil game. Rocksteady. I just flipped a chair for you, man. Just give me that Daredevil game, man. Rocksteady, please. Rocksteady. Superhero games. The one thing that reviewers will say that makes you feel like the certain superhero. Throughout the years, we have experienced good ones and mostly bad ones, aka the movie tie-ins. 2009 happened, and we got the first introduction to a big superhero game that gave people faith that superhero games could get this kind of big boy treatment, and that was the critically acclaimed Arkham Asylum.
I can't believe it's almost going to be 10 years since we have been given this game. After 2009, still, we have gotten some good games, but we haven't had a big, huge kind of AAA game that felt like this was the real stuff till 2016 with the reveal of Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4. The games after 2009 to now have mostly been games that people don't really care about. Movie tie-ins, Lego games, or just team-up games. After all of this, don't you want more games that are treated and hyped up like the Arkham series and Spider-Man PS4? Maybe after all of this, we might get solo games that are based off heroes and their own adventures and character development in the game. I honestly feel like there is so much potential with these types of games, especially since there were many games that had good ideas but were cancelled in the middle of development. There are so many big developers that can make these solo games with big comic book writers writing the stories. What if we got a Deadpool game developed by Ninja Theory that has better combat than that one certain game that is really controversial? Maybe one of the writers that could be involved in the story would be maybe Joe Kelly or Daniel Way, but he does it right this time. Oh, maybe that one superhero that no one really knows or cares about, but what's that loser's name? Oh yeah, Invincible. Maybe you should check out his 144 issue series. We could get a game that can be based off one of the stories during the run. I don't know which one to choose. It's a very good series. I honestly don't know which kind of developer could fit this certain superhero. I just want to add him into the video. There's also people wanting Daredevil made by that one developer. What's his name? I know it starts with an R.
Rocksteady.
Oh, it's obviously Rockstar. Speaking of Rockstar, why not a Punisher game? It seems like a good idea, or maybe Naughty Dog could do it too. We could also have an Iron Man game made by Insomniac Games with good alternate suits and fun gadgets in it. Remember that Flash game that got cancelled a lot of times and there was footage on YouTube of early prototype stuff of it? What about a Flash game with combat where you can lock on enemies when you can just speed charge into them with unlockable combat moves you can do with a separate upgrade tree for your speed also? I don't really know, it's just a thought. I always thought that the Green Lantern Rise of the Manhunters had a decent gameplay style, so why not another dev try to improve that kind of style, but it's actually good? What about Wolverine game made by Santa Monica Studios that is more hack and slash, like how Raven Software made X-Men Origins Wolverine? Hey WB Montreal, there's that other superhero that everyone knows, like motherfucker. Yeah, the one and only Big Blue with the S in the middle. Everyone wanted Rocksteady to make a Superman game. The ability to fly as him or even be a god basically in the game would just be fun. Superman Returns had the right idea of making the city basically your health bar since you can't really get hurt unless all the enemies somehow have kryptonite punching gloves. There's just so much potential for the superhero genre. Maybe after we get the Avengers project or in a couple of years we might get games like what I said with big developer treatment. Honestly, I don't know what else to even say right now. I might do a second part based on two other heroes. But that's not until like what, 2025 when the Avengers project comes out.
Then check this out.
Please give us Punisher Season 3 Netflix.
Please give us Daredevil Season 4 so my owner can actually feed me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, I'm being dusted, man. Oh no, jeez.
Wait a minute. There's been a bit of a mix-up. You're not the right Bowser. Sorry, but I'm the right Bowser for this presentation.
So, the Avengers Project, aka Marvel's Avengers, another regular title for a new Marvel AAA game. The game trailer has surely left a reaction to everyone on the internet, that's for sure. From the information we got from Marvel's Avengers, it is a game about the Avengers joining back together 5 years after the supposed A-Day event that killed hundreds of civilians in San Francisco. This is kinda interesting, knowing that this is basically the Avengers' redemption with each other and the world after failing everyone. Though it makes me wonder who the main villain of this game is now, considering that we have a base idea of what the game is. One thing I'm for sure is that I'm glad that this game, from the looks of it, doesn't even have Thanos or the Infinity Stones mentioned or involved in this game. This is a huge relief, since for the past several years we have had stuff that had to deal with the Infinity Stones of Thanos in a Marvel game that wasn't particularly a solo game, and we are seeing that now in the new Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 game also. There's also one thing I keep wondering: the mystery girl that talks in the background of the trailer could possibly be Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, like everyone is saying now. Makes sense, especially now since that the blast that destroyed the helicarrier along with Cap was a Terrigen blast. It might have affected her in a way, giving her powers and reuniting the Avengers back together after so long, because in the comics Kamala got her powers from a Terrigen kind of gas that was like for Inhumans and stuff, and she became Miss Marvel that way. I also forgot to mention that this game is also a games as a service kind of game like Destiny, or the free to play kind of games like Warframe and stuff like that. Although the devs first said that there would be no loot boxes or any pay to win kind of content, I knew there would also be a catch to it, because this sounds too good to be true, and Lord and behold, I was right, because later they announced that there would still be microtransactions in the game. Although it's for cosmetics only, I hope that's only for a couple suits and that no one would really want. At least keep the classic suits in the game. As long as the microtransactions don't really affect the game, then I'm fine with it. Alrighty, let's just quickly talk about the designs for the characters. Real quick, Cap, to be honest, he doesn't look good in terms of the suit. It's too military, like even for him in the modern age, it's just bad and it's really dull. It's just big and bulky with hockey pads. I hope that he looks better by release, or even with like a more updated look to his costume that's kind of better, because apparently you will be able to customize your character in different suits. Black Widow, though, her suits is just fine. It's her face that isn't really the best, I would say, because I didn't know Grace Randolph did the mocap for Black Widow. Either way, her face looks very square and it just needs a little bit of fixing. Iron Man and Hulk look really good to me. They seem like how they would if you would expect them in a game like that. Thor looks alright. He would look better with a helmet on, but it's just fine. Nothing bad I would really say about him. I think it's obvious that the developers are going to update the models a little and fix them, because this is obviously alpha footage that will be fixed 11 months from now. So there's not anything you should worry about for the graphics. They won't really change the designs, but will fix the little stuff and have more polished graphics. I don't get how most of the people who I have seen react to this trailer on the internet say the same thing as do they don't really look like their MCU counterparts. Changing the faces is a good thing, since this can be identified as its own thing. It doesn't have to share with the Marvel Universe cinematic universe at all. The Avengers isn't only the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of thing, you know. You don't expect Peter Parker and Marvel Spider-Man to look like Tom Holland now, do ya? Alrighty, let's have a quick talk about the gameplay, since we haven't really seen actual gameplay shown to the world other than E3 closed doors kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna go off descriptions that have been posted so far because I'm a poor boy who can't go to E3 at all. So based off many articles, it sounds like Thor is more like Kratos from the newest God of War game from last year, so that's very good considering one of the combat leads for this game came from God of War, and I'm expecting that kind of gameplay for Thor. Surprisingly, Hulk is apparently the most polished out character so far in the demo. They probably worked on him the most out of everyone so far to make this Hulk really fun. Iron Man apparently plays like, I don't know if I'm right or not, the Javelin from Anthem, which actually makes a lot of sense to me. I don't really know the name because I don't care about Anthem. It makes a lot of sense to me since they're really similar to each other and the gameplay would fit Iron Man anyway. Cap plays like Arkham Batman apparently, which I highly doubt since a lot of critics now are just calling every new superhero AAA combat like Arkham style. Black Widow, to be honest, sounds the least interesting to play as. She seems like the regular athletic kind of agility like character with guns, so you know, when me and the boys will play co-op together, she is definitely not going to be chosen. So far, I would play as either Thor or Cap in co-op. Anyways, I don't really know how to feel about this game. This could possibly end up as an average AAA game, but I still have hope for this. We still have 11 months left, so let's hope everything is fixed and ready with a complete story and good gameplay. Hopefully this game will prove Marvel that there could be good Marvel AAA games that don't have to be just Spider-Man alone. On July 7th, 2017, we got our first Spider-Man movie that sets in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Many people before were really excited about this movie, and so was I, so believe me when I say this, Homecoming is a mediocre movie that doesn't feel right until its final act of the film. Most of you guys have seen my quick thoughts on the first Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, and I thought it was neat, but I didn't really care that much about it at first. In fact, I didn't really start to get excited until around the last 2 weeks before release of this film. So I watched the movie the day after it came out, and you know what? I felt good. Well, I was a little disappointed that my theater ran out of those free posters they were giving away for the movie by the time I got there. But anyways, Spider-Man Homecoming was a mediocre Spider-Man movie, but Spider-Man Far From Home is just okay. This movie is really gonna set the Spider-Man fanbase online apart again, like Homecoming did, but it's something that we're all gonna have to deal with now. I am gonna talk about spoilers in this video, so yeah, be warned I guess. When the movie first started, the first act of the film felt really weird if I'm being honest. Everything felt quick until Hydra Man showed up at the beginning of this film. Everything that led up to that fight and the introduction to Mysterio felt like it was all under 20 minutes to me. It had similar pacing to how Ant-Man and the Wasp had, and it was really weird. But the movie started to settle in more after that. Real quick, Flash in this movie is still really bad. He's now a rich douchebag who live streams dumb Instagram live stuff in this film during their trip the whole time. Actually, considering how this Flash is, I don't think he'll ever really be the Flash we actually all know and love. He'll just be that annoying kid in the movies for me. Another character that I really didn't like in this movie was Brad Davis, Peter's rival for MJ. Brad in this movie was fairly just the guy who likes the main character's love interest but wants to ruin the main character's chance of getting with the love interest. In fact, there's a scene I really hate in this movie which is a semi-joke and leads to introduction of the drones that Mysterio will use later in this film. It's with Peter trying to wear his stealth suit with a European shield lady right next to him, and while he was taking off his pants, Brad walks in and takes a photo of Peter to show MJ that Peter was hooking up with a European chick, ruining his chances with MJ. It also led to Peter accidentally summoning a drone to kill Brad, and Peter had to destroy it with no one looking. I don't know, that whole scene with Brad was just really weird and not really funny at all. I mean, it could have just been replaced with something better to introduce the drones. There was one joke I really laughed at, and that was the tribute to the fallen heroes with it playing an I Will Always Love You song in the background with stock images. Anyways, some of the jokes in this movie aren't really the best at all, and some drag out or are just really bad to me. I do like Ned and Betty in this movie actually though. Those two had some neat funny scenes together. Michelle was a character I really didn't like in Homecoming at all, and thought that the few scenes she had in Homecoming were just annoying. In this movie, she was actually a likable character and wasn't really bad at all in this movie. The stuff between her and Peter was alright, just normal teen awkwardness between the two until the end of it. Peter was really a likable character throughout the film for me, if I'm being honest. Tom Holland really is a good fit for Spider-Man, and if we ever have writers and a director who could go beyond and make a very, very good Spidey movie with Tom, it would be great. The Elementals, aka just Hydra Man and Multiman, were just missed potential because we'll never really see them as fully fleshed out MCU villains in the Spidey MCU film saga thing. Mysterio though was one of my favorite parts of this film. I knew if this film would be bad, Mysterio would be the one I would enjoy the most. At least I was wrong about this film being bad, but right that I would enjoy this Mysterio despite some weird choices for this version. His motivation though, as much as it is to relate it to Stark, even though Stark is dead because of Endgame, it still fits Beck's character in this film. Jake Gyllenhaal was a good casting choice for him and nails how he acts most of the time. The costume was really good, but shame it was just a CGI kind of costume for Beck. I will say that it's weird that he needs a whole crew to mostly make the Mysterio stuff work. I was kind of hoping it would just be his own thing most of the time. It makes me think how this Mysterio would be a recurring character or like join the Sinister Six. He can't always have a huge crew and depend on almost everything for this to totally work. How would it work if he is solo and with a team like the Sinister Six? It makes me really wonder what will happen in the future. Also, Mysterio can't be dead. It's Mysterio for crying out loud, so they can't really kill him, right? You can't tell me that this is the only time we're ever gonna see him in this film. Please, Marvel, bring him back for another movie. One thing that is truly the best part of the film and forever will be are Mysterio's illusions. They were amazing and just cool to look at. Every part of it was just truly really amazing, and I was just smiling through this part of the film the whole time. After seeing this film, it made me think, yeah, this Spidey is truly really OP, and even without the tech, he's really strong and agile. And you can really see that a lot in the nice action scenes of this movie. He got hit by a train and only had a couple of bruises and bloody hands, which I will say that was just cool to see for Peter, hip damage like that. The third act was again really cool to see the action and fights, and Peter was just so cool using his spider sense. I'm never gonna call it Peter Tingle. The music in this movie really is nice. I feel like Michael Giacchino, if I'm saying that right, really stepped up with his OST, because I really love Mysterio's theme in this film, and now I like it more than Vulture's theme for Homecoming. Okay, this is the last thing before I go into conclusion. The post-credit scenes, mostly the mid-credit scene for this film, is really a big thing that will question how the third film will cover something this big. It should have been the real end of this film instead of a post-credit scene, because this is one of the biggest consequences for Peter in this film, and it's just a post-credit scene, which I kind of find that annoying, but whatever. Peter's identity is now revealed by a fake video by Mysterio, and it also has the introduction of J. Jonah Jameson, cast by J.K. Simmons in this movie. This really made me interested in how the third movie will be, and who the villain will be, and how this will be covered. I hope the villains could be Kraven or Scorpion. Kraven most likely being hired to hunt down Peter Parker, and then Matt Gargan would be hired by Jameson to also get Spider-Man, which leads to the creation of the Scorpion suit, which makes him Scorpion. I feel like in a way the Spider Slayers will appear in the MCU, considering what Spidey 3 is most likely gonna cover anyway. While I was recording, I just thought of this idea for Spider-Man 3. What if Peter had trust issues with everyone, and that it would also focus on revolving around Peter's trust, since in Far From Home he trusted Mysterio, which was the wrong move and messed up everything, and now Mysterio gave away his secret identity, and now most of New York know that Spider-Man is also Peter Parker, and that now people are gonna hunt for Peter Parker. So Peter might have trust issues with everyone and might not know who to trust anymore at all. So yeah, that's just a neat idea I thought of. All in all, this movie is neat, but with considering some weird problems, most jokes that are fairly meh to bad, and some characters that aren't really good or just missed the mark of being good, I feel like it's just a 7.3 out of 10. I know that's a weird number, but that's just how I really feel. It still has some stuff that lacks in this film, but it's still way better than what Homecoming tried to be. And you should see it in theaters to form your own opinion, but this is how I personally feel like about this one. This isn't the best Spider-Man movie, and it never will be for me, but it's not the worst either. So I really liked it, enjoyed it. So yeah, bye guys, see you in the next video. If you did not like Spider-Man Far From Home, you could always use the suit from Spider-Man PS4 and replay the whole story with the suit on. If you didn't like either of those two, you could make your own version of the movie, but it'll probably later get deleted by YouTube because YouTube hates full movie parodies. MCU Spider-Man is gone! Okay, in all seriousness, honestly I don't really mind it at all. With the MCU, it kind of held Spidey back in a way with the decisions they took with the character. Sure, Far From Home was an okay movie along with his appearance in the MCU, but it honestly depended more on the other heroes in the MCU universe to really tell its story, if you get what I mean. Like how Endgame played a major part in Far From Home, the repercussions of Endgame. Tom Holland was a perfect casting for this character, and I wish that whatever Sony does with him is better than what we have right now, and we wouldn't have man-childs trying to boycott a company where they in a way was on the right side to take back the character after Disney was trying to get even more of the profit than they already have from multiple movies they make and merchandising they have for Spider-Man. All in all, I don't blame Sony for taking back Spidey. At most, I put the blame on Disney. I have seen people online ask for Spider-Man 4 to happen now, but I just can never see that happening, nor do I want to see it ever happen. We already have 2 adaptations of the comic book character already. We should at least finish the current one instead of trying to finish an old one. One thing that'll now never happen will be having famous team-ups like with the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, or many other characters, but I would sacrifice good solo stories rather than team-ups. With another rumor out there that the writers might be staying, but John Watts not really considered to do the next movie, which I hope he doesn't do. He honestly doesn't really understand the character as much as needed. He still makes fine movies in general though, but I don't think Spider-Man should have been handed to him at all. Alrighty, can Sony really do this character even when they're planning on doing a whole universe of different Spider-Man villains for solo movies? Can Sony really bring this character justice in movies again? Does Spidey 7 even have hope at all for this to be the best ever movie adaptation of Spider-Man ever? No. Well, no. Well, maybe. You can say that Sony has made better Spider-Man media than Disney has, but right now, I mean, look at Venom. That got really lucky, even though Sony doesn't really even know what they're doing most of the time now. Sony still has a chance at redeeming the character though, despite the chairman for Sony Pictures, Tom Rothman, saying that they have learned everything for creating future Spider-Man movies. But that doesn't really even give me hope at all. If that would be the case, that would mean that MCU Spider-Man would be in the same in terms of character and nothing would be changed, which wouldn't be a good thing since they would have a chance at redeeming this character mostly. With a better director that has the same love and passion for the character and wants to tell a good story with Sony for once, actually giving free creative control, that would be great honestly. Let's hope that if they continue Holland Spidey, we could get better content for this adaptation for the character. Or everything is back to normal in like a month and this video would be pointless and a waste of my time. And your time also. I mean, look at Venom. Sony, you have killed my grandfather. Sony, give me back Spider-Man. Sony. Oh, I'm gonna keep that. I love The Flash. The comics, I mean. The show, it's something, I guess. I remember seeing the first trailer that was like 5 minutes long for the first time ever, and I just generally shrugged it off. I wasn't the biggest fan of the era at the time, and I felt like I would feel the same about it for The Flash. So I didn't watch it till like 8 months later, which what I remember was like after the first season of the show ended and everyone was talking about how emotional the ending of the first season was. I decided, hey, you know what, let's give it a watch. I might drop it soon, but whatever. I did think it was a cool show at the time, but dropped it and didn't care about season 2 until its 19th episode, where Barry lost his powers. Season 3 was the only season I actually watched weekly for every episode. This show is honestly just a pick up and drop off kind of show for me. After seeing all the seasons now, and with season 6 coming soon, let's just talk about all the seasons for the show. Season 1 of the show, aka the season people will always say it as the best season for the show, which in a way is true. This was the second show to be introduced in the Arrowverse. This season had a nice sort of fun vibe to it and it was just fine at the time. Harrison Wells was a fine new character to the Flash world and the TV show, and Tom Cavanaugh, if I'm saying that right, being also Eobard Thawne was also nice twist in a way. When I first watched season 1, I was never really a big fan of him needing a whole team for every villain kind of situation. It just feels like the team is just holding Barry's hand every time and just telling him what to do while giving him inspirational advice when he's down. But it's just a CW thing for the hero to have a whole team with the main character. Anyways, Season 1 also gave us new characters such as Firestorm, Caitlin Snow, who will eventually become Killer Frost in later seasons, and Cisco, who will become Vibe also in later seasons fully. They were alright additions to The Flash in a way, being his show. I did feel tired of the weekly new villain thing by the 18th episode of the season. It felt just really repetitive and just boring by the time. Which reminds me of the season-long villain, the Reverse Flash. Was he good or was he a bad villain? He was fine for the most part, honestly. He needed more time to shine in this season, a little more than making it focus on the character slowly figuring out who the Reverse Flash was, even though we knew by the end of the first episodes for us viewers, but that's just a little nitpick of mine. It wasn't that big of a deal. Iris's character in this wasn't the absolute worst in the season, but I wouldn't say that she was good either. Eddie Thawne mostly didn't even need to be in the season till the last couple episodes of this season, which in a way was interesting to see how he would react to Thawne being the Reverse Flash and them being related. But you could have just took him out, but then he killed himself. I don't know. One of the big highlights for me in this season was just Barry learning his powers and just learning all the different ways he could use his speed, and the introduction of time travel, which will get annoying in season 3. I did like the season finale though, with Barry going back in time to stop his mother's death and then realizing, hey, that's not a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't do that. And then just talking to his dead mom and stuff like that. That was neat. And then the season finale ending cliffhanger that I just really liked for a season ending. Honestly, I don't know what else to say about the season other than it was fine for what it was. Reverse Flash was a neat villain despite how I feel about season 1. It does still have some fine moments though. 7.2 out of 10. Alrighty, now it's season 2 time. Now being in the next season of The Flash, it takes place right after season 1's ending in multiple flashbacks throughout the first episode, even though it just takes 6 months after that, but it does in season 1's ending and cliffhangers, whatever. Season 2 now add things on a bigger level with the introduction of Jay Garrick and the introduction of multiple Earths to the Arrowverse. Season 2 also, in a way, have the weekly enemy thing, but it's not as bad or boring as season 1 was doing it. The evil Jay Garrick that acted as good throughout the first 17 eps of the season, he was a nice character for the time he showed up. You didn't really think that he would be a part of the season. Big Bad, did I put Big Bag on? Oh my god, I put Big Bag. Okay, whatever. The season-long Big Bad Zoom. Though Zoom wasn't the best villain, I would say. I mean, Reverse Flash for season 1 was way better. Zoom honestly was better before he was revealed to be Jay Garrick / Hunter Zolomon, showing how he was basically just a speed demon. But I did like the fights he did with Barry, especially in episode 6 when Zoom destroyed Barry and took him around Central City to the point Barry couldn't even feel his legs at all after that. Zoom's full plan didn't even really go into motion till the end of the season, and by the time he decided that he was just gonna destroy the multiverse except for Earth 1, it just felt meh. By the time he finally decided that he was gonna do that by the near end of the season, which if he could have done that earlier would have just been better, but I just didn't care by that time. Everyone else honestly was mostly the same in terms of character from the last season. My favorite character in this season was the new Harrison Wells from Earth 2. He was a great character with nice interactions, especially Cisco in the season, and you'll see that relationship with all the Wells in later seasons. Anyway, there are very good episodes in this season, like the 2-part Earth 2 episodes where Barry, Cisco, and Earth 2 Wells travel to Earth 2 to save Jesse, and then on the second part, Barry gets captured by Zoom, and yeah, they try to rescue him in that. And I also love the runaway dinosaur and the race of his life. Also, Joe in this season doesn't really have a big part as much in this, but it'll be like that for all the other seasons, which is nice honestly because he's just a cop dad and he's just a side background character mostly for me. The character I didn't like though was Wally. I love Wally West, especially when he was the Flash in the comics. I still love him even after that dumb stuff that Tom King did to him with Heroes in Crisis. That was stupid. He was very stupid. Why did he do that? He was stupid. I try to honestly accept this version of Wally they're doing for the show, but I just can't at all. He's not really a good character, and they even tried to do the second Wally West from the New 52 stuff, where that Wally was black and stuff, and yeah, but they still even couldn't do that character right. His character is annoying and just dumb, basically with all the things I have said with Season 2. It has some good things with stuff also setting it back. This was a short part, but yeah, that's all I would really think about Season 2 as. It wasn't that big of an improvement, but it was fine, but still lacks some stuff that Season 1 did better. So, 7 out of 10. So that was part 1 of my Flash retrospective thing. I just wanted to do the first 2 seasons as my first part because these are going to be the ones that I might say the least on, because I feel like I have more things to say about Season 3, 4, and 5, because there's something about those seasons that really give me something. They give me something. Okay, so that's it for part 1. I know this was a short video, so yeah. Bye guys, see you in like a month maybe. You know, being a small YouTube channel, it has its perks, like you can just say stuff and not many people will know that you said something controversial. Like this. Gwen Stacy isn't an interesting character. You know, I was honestly making a video called The Misconceptions of Spider-Man, of how casuals look at Peter Parker because of the MCU movies and stuff, but I guess that's a scrap video now because one thing I put on the script was about Gwen Stacy and how people think that she's actually a better love interest than Mary Jane somehow, and being really interesting, which is whack. Sure, Gwen was cool in the Amazing Spider-Man movies and in the Spider-Man Blue, but she doesn't really have anything special for her in terms of character, other than she hates Spider-Man but also loves Peter. The only times that she played a big part in something was when she died in the night Gwen Stacy died, which, I mean, who would ever say that was a bad story? And that time she had the ooey gooey with Norman Osborn in Sins Past, which was truly something. What am I doing? Whenever I say that Gwen isn't an interesting character to like a normal person online or something, they would usually say that, hey, Spider-Gwen counts as Gwen being an interesting character, which I'm talking about 616 Gwen Stacy, not an alternate version of Gwen Stacy who got bitten by a radioactive spider and is somehow in the 616 universe right now because she wants to enroll at Empire State University, which I'm not really a big fan of, but whatever. And also, if you think that Gwenpool and Gwen Stacy are the same person, or just a version of Gwen Stacy, I do not know what else to say because those two are different. Completely different. Her name is literally Gwen Pool. I just don't know what else to say, but just stop thinking that if you do. It just feels like that Gwen was portrayed better in the Spectacular Spider-Man series and the Amazing Spider-Man movies, better than she was in the 616 comics before she died. So yeah, this was just a quick video I felt like releasing because it was on my mind for like a day. So bye guys, see you one day, or 2022. So it's basically been 2 months later after I made my video, and yeah, we finally get gameplay of the Avengers project, or Marvel's Avengers. Most of the things that we saw in the A-Day footage is what the descriptions told us it'll be like from E3, so I decided to make a quick video on how I feel about actually seeing the gameplay in HD. Thor basically is the superhero version of Kratos in this game, in that if you play the new God of War game from like last year, you would basically really easily get the hang of him and might have fun with him. His movement could use some work though. Some things don't really feel nice and flowy in certain movements for him, but in general, I'm excited to see more of him in terms of gameplay and see what other skills he would get in the game. Iron Man plays off right after Thor, and I gotta say, after first seeing his gameplay, I don't think I'll be a fan of the flying / chase combat like what I'm showing you right now. But that part was in a linear tutorial demo for the game. I just hope that it's better than how I see it. I must say though, his ground combat really suits his style, and it'll be fun to switch between different weapons and hovering to also attack enemies in the air while also trying to get enemies on the ground. Hulk looks fun destruction wise and just to cause havoc onto enemies, and would be a fun character to play co-op with too. His attacks are most likely just using humans, but it's not that big of a deal. I like the fact that they're using that, and the smashes, and also using destructible environments for him, which really is good. I don't have that much to say about Hulk other than I want to see more of this character's combat to base my opinion more on him. Captain America's gameplay, aka my favorite out of the bunch. His combat is honestly great, and from the looks of it, you can really mix up button combinations and experiment with this character the most. I really love that aspect in games, and it's my favorite thing to just experiment with characters. Most of the combat is what you expect for characters and how it'll be for them, and I'm glad that this game and Marvel Spider-Man are doing that very nicely in terms of combat. I really can't wait to actually play as this character in the story, when he obviously comes back to life / never died the whole time, and to play him in co-op with friends. Lastly, Black Widow again. With the demo that was showed off, her gameplay isn't anything special, but we were only able to see her gameplay against Taskmaster, which is a boss fight. But so far, not really excited as in terms of actually playing as her, but it's generally fine. I mean, it's something you would expect for a character, and there's nothing wrong with it, just not really my kind of thing after seeing the other four's gameplay. Like, to me, in co-op, she would be like the person that where everyone chose like the best character, and then you're just left with her, but I highly doubt that. All in all, gameplay is generally good. I hope we get to see more levels rather than the same linear tutorial mission the whole time. I'm glad that this and Spider-Man have found ways to make the combat really fit the characters mostly, and I can't wait to see how both improve it even more in the future. Also, I can't wait to like play as all the other different characters that they're gonna add in the future. Like, obviously they're gonna add Spider-Man, so I want to see how his gameplay is like or whatever. So bye guys, see you in the next video. Kindred, a new possible threat to Peter Parker. He debuted in Nick Spencer's first issue of his run for the Amazing Spider-Man back in July 11th, 2018, with no one really suspecting him of being a big threat to Peter's life in terms of really knowing him, until the end of issue 10. When Peter revealed his identity to Black Cat, somehow upsetting him a lot. He seems to personally know Peter, yet no one really knows anything about him. There's something big coming up with him and Peter in the future, yet no one knows what yet.
The only person who knows is the writer Nick Spencer. The mystery of who this character is makes this character really interesting as of right now. There have been multiple theories. One of them is that he claims to be from hell where Mysterio was after he committed suicide in the Guardian Devil story by Kevin Smith. Could this mean that Kindred could possibly be a spawn of Mephisto now that Peter is starting to form back what was lost from the infamous story One More Day? But then the Absolute Carnage tie-in issues came in and raised up another theory that Kindred could possibly be pre-One More Day Harry Osborn. By the way Kindred talked to Norman, him being from hell would also support it since Harry was dead before One More Day resetted everything. One of the bigger theories that even I myself tend to believe is that Kindred is the lost, corrupted soul of Peter Parker after One More Day, since Mephisto told Peter that he is missing something that makes him incomplete from full happiness. It could be something else, but it adds up even more that Kindred in issue 23 in the background started talking about like he knows about how Peter can fail his loved ones and how MJ is also important to Kindred in a way. It could also support that Kindred is pre-One More Day Harry also, since Harry during his time as Goblin never really wanted to hurt her or anyone else close to Peter. Kindred is a mystery even though there are lots of theories circling around him. In the end, it's all up to Nick Spencer once he reveals who this character is. Maybe we'll get to see who he is by issue 50 of the run. We'll never know, but maybe one day.
Oi, Peter, what's going on, man? How you enjoying England, bro?
I don't really know, Ned. I don't know how to feel about this. Leaving everyone behind? I just don't know, man. Leaving Aunt May was happy, of all people. But anyway, I think Michelle likes me. Should I ask her out?
I don't know, man. Just do you. But like, blah, blah, blah. I just got shot in the neck by a tranquilizer, but you can't see it right now. Blah. Good evening, Mr. Parker. What? You're Nick Fury. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. From S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh my god. I want to be your son. Can you be my dad? My black dad? No. Come with me. We will show you something awesome. Is this like something wrong? Like I'm a good boy, so like I don't want to do anything illegal. Just trust me. Just follow me, okay? Like I don't have anything with them on a boat, so like next scene, I guess. I do not know. What do you need me for, Mr. Fury? Actually, we just like flew all the way here to just give you this new suit. Oh, heck yeah, brother. New suit. Whoa there, brother. Who are you? The name's Mysterio. You do not want to be here. Why? Because the fate of the universe and stuff. But this is literally just a water guy. Why can't I be here? This is my responsibility. Whatever, do you want to stop it and be best bros? Oh, heck yeah, let's be best bros, brother. Literally, like, one act later, because I don't care. Hey, Peter, remember when I said we were going to be best bros? I lied. I'm secretly evil. All those elementals were actually illusions. So, that time we got ice cream like an hour ago was a lie? It was an illusion! Well, that sucks. So, what about this video? An illusion! So, like, give me your fucking wallet. I'm poor. Crap, okay. Just give me anything. You just give me... There's gotta be like a hostages around here or whatever. I'll be right back. Oh no, Mysterio is looking for hostages. What should I do? Should I do it with this suit or just wait for Nick Fury to find me another suit? I'll just wait. Suits are awesome.
Peter, we have another suit for you from S.H.I.E.L.D. This one is cooler because it's black.
Okay. Wow, this new suit is awesome. I like the black.
I told you black was cool. Now go kick Mysterio's arse. Bye. Forever. This is my last appearance in the movie, so, bye. The secret agent stuff.
Mysterio, I finally found you. Oh, hello, Peter. I'm here to kick your ass.
That's what I'm going to do, so. Like, blam, shlam, shablamo, kablam, blam, blam, blue.
Ah, it hurts. But I have the master of illusions. Illusions. Oh no, he is big now. Whatever shall I do? I have to remember the words my Uncle Tony taught me.
If I'm nothing without the suit, and I shouldn't have it.
That makes me angry. Fight, kablam, slam. Oh, that hurts. Oh, illusion. Blah, 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 blah. Skipping to Peter and MJ. Michelle, I'm Spider-Man. I haven't told you this for a very long time. I'm sorry, MJ. Huh? Do you want to make out and go swim? Okay. Do it. Flip, wee, flip, wee, flip. That's the end of the movie. Final swing, flip. The Spider-Man! Yay! Do it.
A couple of days ago, or when this comes out, we got a trailer / game overview for the Avengers game, giving us a summary of what's expected in the game that mostly everyone knew about. So I guess I'll just give out my quick thoughts about it, and Kamala Khan being the main protagonist of the story. Alright, Avengers is back with new footage that is other than 8A, so that's neat. What they talked about in multiple interviews is what they showed in this trailer, basically outside of seeing co-op. The thing most people have been talking about from this trailer is how customization with gear is gonna look basically for the game. It looks like you'll be able to equip gear in the game, but it won't affect the look of your player, so you can wear your favorite costume and the gear from the looks of it won't affect your appearance, so that's honestly really good. If they were gonna add gear to the game, then that should be the way it will be used, only just to affect stats, not affect how you look. Everyone says that it does look a lot similar to Destiny, and to be honest, they're not wrong really, with the Hero and Warzone missions being similar to the adventures in Destiny, where you can play them and you would get like rewards like rare gear and stuff for your character to level up. Is it bad that it's very similar to that? No. Not exactly. As long as the missions are fun and replayable, then it'll be honestly fine for me just to replay for extra gear. The thing with Destiny 2 is that the adventure missions are mostly boring for me to play through, and I honestly just felt meh with the game on multiple occasions with it because I got it for free, so I just didn't care as much. I honestly hope Avengers can do this way that they're doing and make it fun and replayable for everyone to want to continue playing the game. We saw a glimpse of the skill tree that we're gonna expect for our characters. It looks to have more depth than Spider-Man PS4 did with its skill tree because it was very basic. At least with this one, it seems that it'll have a lot of things to try to upgrade for only just one character. Though for most people, it wouldn't be that great since that means grinding for each character, so you can make your characters powerful with a nice gear setup. I don't find grinding that bad unless the levels are bad and annoying to replay for it. One thing I hope this game has is the challenge added to it. It looks like you can select which difficulty you want to play on a certain level. I hope that it isn't like Spider-Man PS4 where it's all easy even on the highest difficulty level. I feel like it would be nice if Marvel games like these had a lot of challenges. Think of Dante Must Die mode from DMC5 and other DMC games. Even though I got a lot of D, C, and A ranks, and never a S rank really as much, I still appreciated the challenge added to it. I would even say that the Infinity Rifts in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 had a way more challenge in it than SMPS4 had in difficulty in total. Alright, with the game overview trailer talk done, time to quickly chat about the addition of Kamala Khan being the main protagonist of the game. I honestly don't see it as a bad thing generally. I'm not gonna say it's for diversity because considering Kamala's character from the comics, she always felt like the type of character that would bring the Avengers back together while also being a young teenager for all the youthful people. Also, by the way, in the comics she was also an Avenger for a while, so I guess it still counts. I hope that in this game her character is generally better than how she is in the comics for most of the time, like how Miles' character was better in Spider-Man PS4 than how he was generally in the comics. Anyway, those are some quick thoughts, so bye guys, see you in the next video. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 revealed its first trailer all the way back during the Game Awards last year. No one expected a game like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 to ever see the light of day after 10 years of nothing. But then again, we got DMC5 like 10 years later, so anything could happen now with game sequels. When people first saw the trailer, they were all skeptical, myself included. Could this be the next Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? Well, thank God it's not like that at all, so I guess I should review this game after playing it since July and forgetting to put out this short review back then. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is still different from its last two games in some sort of way. Sure, it feels like it has its top-down, Diablo-like style with Marvel characters, but this one still feels like a fresh new take on the Ultimate Alliance series. One thing that you'll notice off the bat is the new graphics/art style. Personally, I like this change. It's more colorful and nice to look at rather than the old art style, which I say it isn't bad, but I just prefer this version of it better now than after actually playing it and getting more used to this new style for the game. There are still people who say that this looks like a mobile game, but I just don't see it at all. Sure, it has more of a comic book/cartoony look style, but that doesn't mean since it doesn't look real, it makes it a mobile game. I don't know as much, but I just don't really get that argument for the game whenever I hear about it. Okay, the gameplay in this game feels like the past two games in a way, but it still keeps its core stuff and adds new stuff that is a nice addition. No longer you have fusion moves like in Ultimate Alliance 2, but you now have synergies which take a larger part of your energy meter than regular abilities. Synergies are really helpful to do extra damage against enemies since there are way more enemies now in this game, some being hordes basically or just stronger enemies than regular types together. The Ultimate Alliance extreme attacks are just super attacks like how it was in Ultimate Alliance 1 where all the characters could perform a super attack all together. The gameplay in total is fun and enjoyable. The only problems I had were just really short camera problems at some levels sometimes. The roster is neat for what it is. Mostly everyone who has been in an Ultimate Alliance game has been added along with new characters and DLC that adds some veteran characters along with new ones also. One thing I like is the difficulty in this game. I honestly thought the game would just be really easy seen from the footage at first. Glad to say that it has a challenge to it. Also, you need to use the dodge button a lot. You can't just spam into the game later down the story and in higher difficulties like Superior and Ultimate. Infinity Rifts are a nice addition to this game to even add more replayability value after you beat the main story. These honestly really help level up your characters a lot to get them to a point where you could just get your characters at a very high level. Finally, the story in this game is fine for what it is. It's not anything I would say spectacular, but it has some nice environments, but all the environments you'll most likely know now because of the movies that came out. The special thing about the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games in the past is the environments you never really heard of at the time. Now with the MCU and television, it's just really common to everyone now, which is expected, but it still lost some of its spark. This game honestly is a nice, enjoyable game that you'll have fun with on the Switch with for a while. 8 out of 10. Buy it. With the new Star Wars Rise of Skywalker movie that's gonna come out soon, it's time for another Star Wars game published by EA to come out the same holiday release window as the movie, but this one is considerably good. With the release of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I have gone back into the Star Wars groove since the Clone Wars show ended. I've been interested in Star Wars lore again outside of the movies because I never really cared about the movies compared to everything else around it mostly. Anyway, since the game came out, it has some very good reviews, especially with EA's track record of Star Wars Battlefront games and what they said about single player games a long time ago. I got the game like a week later because at first when it was revealed I was excited for the game. After that, when the E3 gameplay was released, I was mostly skeptical and the gameplay didn't look as special as I was expecting. Now actually playing it, sure it doesn't really have anything really special and new and exciting, but to be honest, it's not really a bad thing, and with a lightsaber and force added to it, the game is really fun and I just want to play more of it. Anyways, now since the game is out, I guess it's time for me to just review it with my full thoughts and everything. Let's start with the gameplay. The gameplay, like I said earlier, isn't anything brand new you haven't seen in another AAA video game, but it still manages to have fun without making it feel like a super ripoff that is boring compared to the others. It is like everyone says, like Dark Souls, and mostly using Sekiro aspects, like also making blocking and parrying a big advantage in your combat. Using the Force is quite fun against enemies in a way and really helpful, especially for slow and force push. Although I do wish that we had more of a better skill tree for the Force and add more unique moves we could do with it. The lightsabers on the other hand are nice to use, especially once you get the double-bladed lightsaber you unlock if you either go to Dathomir early in the game or later down the story. It is a nice addition to the combat and adds more variety to your attacks. Near the end of the game you'll unlock the split saber, which again is a nice addition to your combat, but I wish it was another saber mode instead of it just being one move. With the combat in the game, there is also exploration being another big aspect, and each planet wanting you to explore every inch of it. It even made me want to get the trophy of 100%ing each planet, which in a way was fun, but Zepho and Dathomir really had some large and annoying maps in terms of going back and forth to each area. Especially Zepho being the largest out of all the other planets with multiple different areas and even a whole crash site for you to explore. I would have even platinumed it if it didn't have the bounty hunter bug where they don't appear at all, so I can't get the trophy. The bugs in this game are very common and you'll see it a lot. You can tell that this was rushed more and it would have benefited the game a little more with less of these bugs if it came out next year instead of pushing it to make it to that holiday release near when the movie comes out. I would have also mentioned that Darth Vader in this game was a nice addition near the end, and I love that tiny section. I wish we had more of a longer chase sequence with him. Anyways, the story in this game taking place 5 years after the events of Order 66. This game focuses on mostly rebuilding the Jedi Order by obtaining the holocron to start a new wave of Jedi. The Empire sending the Inquisitors to hunt down the holocron while trying to kill the main protagonist, Cal Kestis, who is on the run after his master died during the events of Order 66, which is giving him PTSD, which is also not allowing him to use the Force really, but that's like a gameplay thing also. Until he overcomes all that near the end of the game and becomes a Jedi Knight basically. I kind of like him honestly, but I wish we got more character development from him, or maybe we get to see way more of it if the game continues, like for a sequel or something. This is sort of a nitpick, but I feel like Cal's reaction to other people's death outside of his master's death is mostly just shallow. He doesn't really show regrets from his friend that was killed at the beginning, other than just for a second when he just mentions him and then nothing else. But that's mostly just me. Seer though, I'm honestly just not a huge fan of her, and I kind of wish she died by the end instead of just somehow coming back. She also had sort of a dark side to her that just didn't even sell it for me at all. I feel like the second sister, also known as Trilla, was a way better character than her, even though her reveal that it was her was mostly predictable. Anyway, this game is quite enjoyable with a lot of bugs and some missed parts in its story and missed potential in its gameplay, but I enjoyed it throughout and I hope to see more more of it through a sequel, and EA would finally listen and continue making more Star Wars single player games, or just single player games in general. 8.5 out of 10. I would advise you to check this game out even if you're not really a Star Wars guy. So with that all done, bye guys, see you in the next video. Also, check out the Darth Vader comics by Kieran Gillen and another run by Charles Soule. And if you don't like Star Wars, you can always go on CobraTate.com. Okay, it's been over a month now, and this video might come out before or after Season 6 starts out, but I don't care anymore. In my last video, I talked about how I generally feel about the first 2 seasons of The Flash, the ones that I considered as generally good to okay for me. But now it's time to go into the seasons that made me really dislike the show as a whole, and to me, in a way, ruined this version of The Flash for me generally. It's okay if you like this version of The Flash, you're entitled to your own opinion and all that stuff. It's just to me that I don't feel the same way a huge respectable fan of the show would feel about this. So without further ado, let's pick up where I ended off with the last video with Season 3 of the series. So Season 3. This is the season that I generally watched every episode the day it came out the whole time, since I was excited to see how the season will do the Flashpoint story and the fallout of it for Barry and everyone else around him. So yeah, I decided to give myself Idiot of the Year for that dumb assumption thinking that it's gonna be good, considering it's gonna be the most limited version of the story I have ever seen. The real Flashpoint story for the show only lasted 1 episode, so yeah. Well, that kind of sucks. It was a really huge event, you know, the one that led to the New 52. It could have been so much more even for the show. It could have lasted at least multiple episodes, maybe even leading up to the mid-season finale. But anything is better than just 1 episode of Barry living in that timeline for 3 months off screen, then it all goes bad in the first episode. So anyway, after that, Barry went back to his own time while Reverse Flash here is back and said, I don't feel like fighting Barry. Let me be a villain now in Legends of Tomorrow. The rest of the season until Savitar is introduced to the mix is about how Barry changed everyone's lives in Flashpoint and when he tried to revert things back to normal. Also, yeah, Caitlin has powers now, so that's neat, I guess. I almost forgot to talk about Big Boy Wally West since he plays a bigger part in the season. And let me tell you something, folks. He got so annoying. He was the same in terms of character, and honestly, again, this is my opinion, he just made everything worse in this season except for leading everyone to Savitar in like episode 7 or something. I would also like to say that Barry is just a very bad mentor to him and was just generally a douche to Wally. I don't know if it's good or not that he stays in the show for like 1 episode every season after this season ended, or if that's a bad thing, because Wally in the show sucks. Once the mid-season finale came out and ended with, oh, Savitar is gonna kill Iris, making it the main goal now. Literally after that, the season is about saving Iris from her death. Barry literally tried to propose to Iris the first time because she wasn't wearing a ring when Big Boy Savitar killed her. I mean, he obviously tried a second time because he realized what he did was really stupid. Iris as a character in this season though wasn't the worst, but she did feel a little worse than how she was in the first 2 seasons of the show. Also, back to Savitar, it turns out the big bad was just a time remnant of Barry that's evil. It's now time to insert the you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain quote that everyone knows from a better DC property than this show. I still honestly don't know as much about how time remnants even really work at all in this show. I'm still confused on that concept. His main motivation for him being bad is because everyone around him apparently didn't treat him as if he was the real Barry Allen, and he became insane, so he decided that he will be a speed god with a cult that'll murder everyone. That's great writing. Other than what I said, Team Flash are generally the same in terms of character for each and everyone except the new Harrison Wells and Caitlin turning into Killer Frost throughout the season, so The season finale of the show was more or less disappointing compared to how the past 2 finales for the show, and that's something I feel like saying for the other 2 seasons after this. This season was generally really meh for me. I don't like it, but it's not the worst thing I have ever watched yet. But this is one of the seasons for The Flash I did not really like. It has its problem with many missed opportunities, so basically 6.3 out of 10. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Season 4 time, y'all. I mean, we can generally say that this season was a really bad season for this show. They originally said that it's gonna be like season 1 in terms of tone and feel. It just felt like a bad try rather than going back to its roots. At least with season 3, it was different in a way, but still was better than how they executed the season. It still felt like it had a lot of writing inconsistencies that the actors should have pointed out during production. The season introduced a new character into the team, that being Ralph Dibny, aka Elongated Man, you know, the guy that's mostly related in a way in terms of powers to Plastic Man. The guy was generally okay in the season. I didn't find him bad all the time in the season, other than he was a really huge focus in the season. Let's go to Iris, you know, the start of when everyone realized Iris is bad and horrible as a team leader. I will never forget how she had the audacity to say, "We are the Flash." How she was in this season just made me so annoyed for most of the whole time, and I just wanted to stop watching because of how she was. I don't want to continue talking about how she was a bad character since we all know she was horrible. Barry was alright as a character in this season, but for most of the time he really did feel dumbed down a lot, especially for a smart guy like him in this season. The main villain, the Thinker, was something I can say the least. He had a good actor and a nice general motivation, but god, he was just executed badly. He had a good idea during the end of the mid-season finale and framing Barry for murder, which led to the Trial by Flash episode with Barry in jail for like 3 episodes, which was honestly one of the very interesting parts in this season rather than the typical Team Flash stuff they do. One of my favorite episodes in this season is the Flash time and how Barry had to push his limits in order to save Central City from a bomb or nuke that was going off in 1 second. Even though it was a filler episode that didn't really extend the plot, obviously, but it was just a nice episode to watch and see Barry push his limits, even though he still had help. This season felt way different than any other season in a bad way. I could continue on why this season was bad, but it was generally annoying for me and I hated the season a lot more than I usually hate things most of the time. Anyways, 4 out of 10. I don't like it and I'll never will. So time to finish it off with the final season for this video being season 5, the one about Nora Allen and all that stuff. A lot of people liked this season. I generally didn't enjoy it at all for the most part, and I felt the same sort of hate for Nora throughout the season as the same hate I felt for Iris in season 4. The season mostly focuses on Nora, which in a way was a nice change considering it's the child of Barry and Iris from the future. I tried to like her, but she was just generally just an annoying person that I couldn't stand at all. I don't really get why they chose this route of making her sound like a 13-year-old child in an adult body with super speed in terms of writing. I get it that she hasn't seen her father for most of her life, but she just plays out as totally annoying throughout the season, and I wish they fixed her character a lot to make her really likable. The background villains, aka the villains that they fight every episode, I forgot to say that for this season and the last, are generally really boring and not as neat as some villains in other seasons were. Even season 3 had some cool villains. Not even the main villain Cicada was good, he was just generally bad as a villain, even her daughter Grace as Cicada. Also, fun fact, Cicada in the comics is a cult leader who had the powers to suck the life force out of others to mostly live longer during Wally West's run as the Flash. Team Flash again was mostly normal, nothing major in terms of character for them, other than how Cisco wants to be a normal guy and develop a metahuman cure for metahumans that he uses on himself by the end of the season. Okay, thank god I remember this part of the season with the metahuman cure. They had to ask for consent before they gave it to the person who wants to be cured. Literally near the end of the season, Cicada's daughter Grace becomes the new Cicada and comes back to finish her father's job and kill all the metahumans, while the present version of Grace, who was like 10 years old in a coma, they needed her consent while she was in a coma, so they decided in the season finale they go into her head and convince her to take the cure. They did say that though giving her the cure could be risky for her being in a coma, but I don't understand why they could have just tried to at least wake her up from the coma rather than asking for her consent to take the cure that also somehow wakes her up from her coma. I don't know honestly anymore. I just find the whole metahuman cure with consent thing kind of funny even in a show like this. The parts with the Reverse Flash were nice, like during the 100th episode where Barry and Nora went back in time to all the previous events that happened in the past seasons, especially the part where Barry talked to Season 1 Eobarthon and Season 2. The interactions between Barry and Eobard are honestly great throughout the season where they meet, and I love that they didn't screw that sort of interaction up with them. Anyways, all in all, this was just a very mediocre season that I didn't even enjoy at all, so 5 out of 10, that's it. That's how I feel about the first 5 seasons of The Flash. It started off strong and in a way decreased in quality a lot. It's okay that you like these seasons, as I said in the beginning of this video. It's just generally I had problems with them and I had to watch season 3, 4, and 5 2 more times after watching them for the first time so I can have set thoughts on how I feel just for this video. I love The Flash so much and I just want to see him have the same kind of treatment as Batman and Spider-Man in terms of popularity and good TV shows and entertainment in terms of video games and movies. One day we'll finally see The Flash with an amazing TV show or movie, and I can't wait for the future for The Flash and see how this will go one day in terms of more popular stuff for him. Also, one day we can finally get a Flash video game, for Christ's sakes!
So, you actually watched the video, surprisingly. Thank you for watching, and yeah, again, see you in 2020. Hopefully this year is gonna be, 2020 is going to be better than 2019. So, yeah, it's over.